I fell in love with a man I'll never see again, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me. Some context. I was flying home from my cousin's wedding. I went alone. I spent the whole weekend smiling at happy couples and telling relatives I was focusing on myself. The truth is, I was in a situationship with a guy who took 6 hours to answer a text. I had spent 2 years shrinking myself down to fit whatever space he felt like giving me that week. So I was already in a weird place when I got to the airport. Then my flight got cancelled. A storm rolled in, everything got grounded, and I got rebooked for 7 a.m. The gate area turned into a campground. People sleeping on their bags. One man yelling at the desk agent like she personally controlled the weather. I found the last open outlet and my phone was at 4%. The guy next to me held up one of those charger splitter things and said, "Room for 2. That was it. That was the whole introduction. I am not a talk to strangers person. I wear headphones specifically so this will not happen. But we started with small talk about the storm, and an hour later we were somehow still going. He asked real questions, not the fake kind people ask while waiting for their turn to talk. He would ask something and then actually sit with the answer. At one point I caught myself telling him about my grandmother, and I do not talk about my grandmother. Around midnight we found the only food place still open and split the last sad pizza in the case. He gave me the bigger slices and pretended he didn't. We rode the moving walkways back and forth like idiots because everything else was closed. At some point we argued about whether a hot dog is a sandwich for a solid 20 minutes. He was wrong, and it was the best argument I've ever had. Then it got quiet in that 1 a.m. airport way, and the conversation went somewhere deeper. He told me he was flying to Portland to see his dad. First time in 6 years. He told me why they stopped talking. Stuff he said he had never said out loud before. His hands shook a little while he talked. I found myself wanting to fix everything for him, which is not a feeling I get. I told him things I've been carrying since college. Things the guy I was seeing never once asked about. He didn't try to fix any of it. He just nodded and said, "That must have been heavy to carry alone." I nearly lost it right there in front of the closed Cinnabon. Here's the detail that broke my brain. His phone buzzed at some point and he flipped it face down without even looking. He didn't check it once. 8 point and he flipped it face down without even looking. He didn't check it once. 8 hours. Do you know how rare that is? I've sat across from men at actual dinner dates who scrolled between sentences. Around 3 a.m. I fell asleep on his shoulder. I woke up an hour later, mortified, and realized he hadn't moved. His whole arm had gone numb rather than wake me. He just smiled and said, "You looked like you needed it. My ex used to shove me off the couch for less. We never traded last names, not on purpose at first, and very much on purpose." Around 5:30, the sky outside the big windows started turning pink. We watched the planes get de-iced and didn't say much. It was the most comfortable silence of my life. At 6 a.m., they called his flight. We stood up and there was this long pause. He asked if I wanted his number, and I heard myself say no. Even I was surprised, but my brain had already played the whole movie. Texting for 2 weeks, time zones, dry replies, the slow fade, watching the guy from the airport turn into another name in my phone who stopped trying. I've seen that movie. I know exactly how it ends, and he deserved better than becoming that. Honestly, so did I. So I told him the truth. I said, "I want one perfect thing that stays perfect." He looked at me for a second like he was memorizing something. Then he smiled and said, "Then thank you for the best night of my life." He got in line. At the door he turned around, put his hand over his heart and disappeared down the jet bridge. I cried at gate B22 like an absolute lunatic. A cleaning lady handed me a napkin and did not ask a single question. Bless that woman. But here's the thing I can't get over. That man listened to me like I was the most interesting person alive for 8 straight hours and expected nothing back. No number, no follow, nothing. He gave me his full attention just because I was there and he decided I was worth it. I didn't even know that was an option. I can't unknow that feeling now. I landed, went home, and ended my situationship that same day. 2 years, done in a 4-minute phone call. He asked, "Where is this even coming from?" I almost laughed. It was coming from gate B22. My friends think I'm insane for not taking the number. Maybe. But he wasn't supposed to be the destination. He was the proof that the right person makes it look easy. Proof that attention is not a prize you have to earn by shrinking. Whoever comes next has to clear the bar a stranger set in an airport.